Hi everyone, welcome to the last video in this series of 12 from Tiny Year by Agotapop, and this is the November page 42, and we have a sort of magical broomstick to finish with. So let's have a little closer look at our broom. I'll move the book again in a minute. We're getting a little bit too far to the right, aren't we? Hang on. There we go. Right, so we have our broomstick and we have a little bow and a gemstone, and so we'll do the handle first. That's the easiest bit for me. Anyway, I am going to start with the Van Dyck Brown. I'm going to do a darker outline to the broomstick. So I am just outlining it really with the pencil. It's got a wobbly lead. I still haven't changed the blades in my sharpness. I need to do that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit just inside that line, a lighter bit, so that we can blend it into our next colour, whatever that might end up being, like that. Yeah, I'm going to use a lighter brown, so I'm just looking in my colours. Yeah, I think the brown ochre would be a good one. I'm just trying to find it. I actually moved my tripod and it's in my way. Hang on. That's better. I can reach my picture now. It was so far away. I don't know why I did that. There we go. So I'm going over what I've done, my nice sharp pencil, and then taking that colour into the centre, much lighter in the middle than the edge, like that. And I'm just going to grab one other colour. I'm going to grab the yellow ochre light. Whoops. Here it is, yellow ochre light, to do just that centre part of the handle, just to burnish it, but I want it to look lighter. We could come in a bit closer, couldn't we? There we are, it's a bit better. Wonky again though. I think it's actually my tripod is very wonky. Anyway, no matter. Right, so this bit, which is our sort of brush part, I usually like to do that in quite a light colour. I'm actually going to start with the green gold and just put a really light layer of green gold on all these bits that are going to be my light bristles. Now you can see I'm trying not to press too hard. It's as much as I can. I want to try and colour every bit, which I find quite difficult. But I don't want to press really hard, because we're going to try and do, that's the ribbon, try and do some strands. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I think you probably know what I mean anyway. It actually looks like hair, like, you know, ponytail. Now we'll put a bit in there and here. There we go. And I'm going to just draw some lines in like this to make it look like we can see the sort of bristles of the broom. And what we're going to do is grab, in a second, a darker colour so that we can do that again and build up some layers. I am going to use that yellow ochre light that I used for the middle of the broomstick. You won't notice it's the same colour. I'm going to sharpen it a little bit though, so I can see all those separate little strands. So yellow ochre light. And just sort of trying to put them in the direction that this is drawn. You know, that line there, this line here, just to try and mimic that, and then it looks like they're right. There we go. And then the same on these ones up here. Though these look more like sticks. Then I'm going to go darker. I'm going to grab the yellow ochre, which is a little bit darker. Again, I'm going to sharpen it. So yellow ochre, same again, just adding strands here and there. Where there's a gap that you think needs filling with a slightly darker one, you can just pop one in. Don't try and copy exactly where I'm putting them, because it's supposed to just be quite random, and you want a sort of even amount across all of it, if that's possible for you to do. Oh, I need to put some in here as well. There we go. Now we're going to go a bit darker. Let me have a little look. What colour's that? Oh yes, the brown. We have got the brown ochre out. I'm going to use that. Yeah, we used it for the broom. Just going to sharpen it. There we go. So brown ochre. Be careful with this one because it's quite a lot darker. So you don't want to make the whole thing really dark. Just put a few bits here and there. Try and separate them out a little bit, so it's not dominating the whole thing, unless you really want it to be a lot darker. But I quite like the lighter look, but I want some sort of bits that look a bit more shadowy. There we go. Now we're going to do our ribbon. Now, so you know, we're magical and everything else, so what colours? Well, we could do, let me have a look. I'm going to go with the mauve deep. We haven't used it yet, so that's part of the reason why. But I can't find it, so that's good. There it is, mauve deep. Now with this ribbon, I want it to look quite silky, so I'm going to put quite a lot of layers at the bottom of each strand and the top, so at either end, and sort of fade it a bit towards the centre, so it looks like the light is catching it and it looks a sort of satiny, silky type ribbon. We can do the same for these two pieces here. So we can really layer it up here and then just fade it towards the centre, and the same on this one and this one. Not too tricky, just got to remember to do it really. And then with these, this bit here is our darkest bit there, and then we can take some colour from each end, because we can have a bit of a shiny looking bit across the middle. It gives the bow a bit of shape as well. Now the twine that's covering is going around here could be the same colour as this, it could be different. I think it's probably the same, so that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to again lighten it towards the centre because of the shape of the broom. I think this bit would be lighter, like that. Now I've got this little gemstone on the broom in the centre of the bow. I mean, you could just do it the same colour as the bow and make it look like it's the ribbon. I think it's quite nice just to add a touch of another colour just because we can. And now I was tempted to do it in the sort of purpley colours that we did for the hat on our frog, but I've decided I think I'm going to go for a green. I'm going to use the Castle Green Deep. Where are you? There. I thought, oh, green might just work. Castle Green Deep. And I'm going to try, although it's got a sort of pattern drawn on it, I'm going to treat it as if it's just one element, and I'm going to make it as dark as I can around the edge and then lighter in the middle. And what I'm actually going to do is get a black pencil the ivory black, sharpen it really well and put a little bit of that around the edge as well, just to make it look like there's some shadow there. So here is the ivory black, and around the edge with a bit of that, and then we can just emphasize some of the shadows with this black as well underneath and between the ribbons in here where they're overlapping like that around our ribbon, particularly underneath. You can even put some black strands into your broom if you want. I'm not going to go that far. So there is that. Now I'm going to use a little bit of white pen just to draw a tiny shiny bit on our gemstone. I'm just going to put a little tiny clip on there and there. It's really small, you may not see it. Now we don't have anywhere to put sparkles on this particular page. There's no little dots or dashes or stars or anything like that, but it's going to be the only one without any. I think we did some on the, yeah. So I'm going to use my clear sparkle pen. This is number 700. It's a Sakura, and I'm going to put it over the gemstone. You need to make sure your white pen is dry before you do this. I'm just hoping mine is. They do dry fairly quickly. So our gemstone has got a bit of a shine, and if I hold that up to the light, there's a chance you might, there we go, you can see it glistening. There we are. So there is our finished picture. Let's just move it so you can see all of the page. I'm just going to take my paper out from behind the page, and then, yeah, I think that's it. Then you can see the whole completed page. There. I hope that I don't know what's going on with my tripod. I'm going to try and square it up. That's a bit better. There, that's better. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. I really had a lot of fun. I'm not, as you know, I'm not a big into Halloween, but these are just so cute. They're almost irresistible, aren't they? So that's the whole page done. So thank you for joining me. If you've joined me for the whole series, I really appreciate it, and thank you for your likes and comments and things that I'm sure some of you will have been putting in. Yeah, there'll be something new. I think I know what's coming up tomorrow, and then there'll be something new for November, sorry, because it's the 30th today, I think. So yeah, something new for November, but we'll see what that is. I've got some plans, but we'll find out. So thank you very much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed the rest of your day, and happy colouring.